Hi everybody, my name is Peter Fisher and I'm the founder of Manderley Gate. We're the creators of the MG toilet odor venting system. And what we're going to discuss in today's video is how to install the SR1 MG fitting in your water tank. This video will be just about the water tank itself. Now what you're going to be seeing today are two-piece toilets, but the principle is the same for a one-piece toilet. Now what I have here in front of me is just a standard water tank that has a traditional flush valve system installed, as you can see there. It's just a flapper design. This is the most popular design there is on the market. There's, I don't know, millions of them out there. This particular one is a 3-inch. You can see how large that flapper is, as opposed to a 2-inch would be quite a bit smaller. A lot of your modern toilets have gone to a 3-inch flush valve. Not all of them, and that's quite all right. The SR1 fitting will work on either one. Doesn't matter. This is your water inlet valve. This is where the water comes from that fills this tank. This hose connects to the overflow tube. That overflow tube feeds the toilet bowl itself. So when you flush your toilet and it starts to refill, water will come in here into the bowl and through this tube, go down to that overflow tube and put water in the bowl. Inside your SR1 system came a cardboard template that you see here. The SR1 is designed to work on two different types of flush valves, a standard flapper style that we have here, and Kohler's AquaPiston, which I'll show you in a little bit. And what you're going to do, you're going to take your template and you'll see it's actually marked. This is the side that you would use for an AquaPiston. Flip it over, and this is the side that you'd use for a traditional flush valve, which is what we have in this water tank. So you take your template, you determine which type of flush valve you have. In this case, it's traditional. So we're going to use the traditional side of our template. You'll see here it says place on top of water tank. So we'll place that on the top of the water tank in the back. We'll fold that down. You're going to fold this as well. So it'll be just like so. Okay, this large opening is designed for the SR1 fitting. All right. The overflow tube has to be within this opening with about a 1/4 of an inch gap from the edge. That allows for the thickness of your SR1 fitting. Now, this particular toilet bowl or toilet tank, water tank, the flush valve overflow tube is angled towards the water valve. If it doesn't reach, if that's not a good position, all you have to do, take a pair of channel locks, loosen this nut, and adjust this flush valve whichever direction you need to go. Once you have it where you want it, usually what I'll do is I'll leave it just kind of snug. Lift the tank up, put my template in place, make sure I have it where I want it, and I'm happy with it there. Then I'll come back and I'll tighten this up. Another thing to look at when you're deciding if that is the right spot for it is to make sure that the flow on the water inlet valve doesn't hit or wouldn't hit your fitting. I'm looking here on the flush valve overflow tube, and I can see, this is something you're going to look for, it's marked water line. So that is telling you when this toilet water tank is full, ready for another flush, the water is going to rest right about here. So what we're going to do, we're going to mark that we're going to mark that on the back of the toilet. So it looks like the water full line is about on this particular water tank is about 5 inches from the top. So I'm going to put a little mark. Come over here, about 5 inches. Double check. It's 5. So I'm going to make a line. Okay. I don't know if you can see that, but I've made a line. In there, and that is when it's full, when the tank is full and ready to be flushed again. That's not our overflow tube mark. That is not our overflow. What that is, if you look there, I'm gonna remove this tube for a minute because we're not going to need that one. We're going to use a different one that came with our system. And as you can see there, top of that overflow tube right here, we're going to go straight across to the wall, and we're going to make another mark straight across from that to the wall. All right, so I'm going to measure it again. And that is about 4 1/4. And I'm going to make another mark. Actually, it's about 4. So I'm going to come over here, measure 4 from the top of the water tank. This will all make sense in a minute. I'm going to put my line again. So I have 2 lines inside my water tank. I know you may or may not see those. That upper one is the most important for us because we want to make sure that when we put our access outlet hole in the back of this water tank, we want to make sure that when we put the access hole in the back of this water tank, it is above that overflow line, not the full one, the overflow. Because if we cut a hole in that, and this tank, this valve doesn't shut off one day, it's just letting the water run and run, it could leak out that access hole we put. So I've put our 2 lines. All right. Take our template again. And our opening here, as you can see, there's no line through it. In fact, I know it's hard for you to see. We probably got about 1.5 inches before we even get to that overflow watermark, which means we could actually put this hole further down inside our toilet, as long as there's nothing in the way, and there's not. And you're saying, well, what's important about that? Well, on the Kohler toilet, you can't do this. It goes one way and that's it. But on a traditional flat style, you could actually lower this into the water tank, allowing you where our full watermark is at, not the overflow, but the full. We want to come down and be right about at that with this fitting. And why do we want to do that? If we can get this so it's actually touching the water, it's in the water just a little bit, we get a seal. Now it'll work whether you get the seal or not, doesn't matter. But if you get the seal, it'll perform even better. Just a little performance tip there for you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a circle. I'm going to trace this circle here. Well, we only do this so we can see where it is in relation to our overflow and our full water line. And as you can see, we have a lot of room here. So I'm going to lower this down. And how do I do that? It's real simple. I just put that like so. And I still have lots of room. And that lowers this fitting deeper into the water tank so we can make that contact with the water. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to do that. So I'm going to make a little mark. I'm going to draw that again. I know it doesn't look real pretty. I'm going to draw it again. Now you can see we're still above that overflow, which looks good. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a measurement. I'm going to measure from the bottom of my mark to the top of the tank. It's 3.5 inches, all right? What did we say it was? 3.5 inches, right? From the top. So we could go, take our Sharpie, make a mark. That's the lowest point we can go. Line this up, slide it over, and there you go. We'll make our little mark here. This is where we'll cut. Okay, that's good enough. I'm going to double check my measurements with my tape measure or my ruler. You know what they say, measure twice, cut once. It's very true. So I'm going to double check that overflow. About 4. This is at 3.5. So that's going to give us about a 1/2 inch clearance from the bottom of this opening to that overflow. Overflow is the key word. Overflow watermark. And that's it. We are now ready. This lines up. I used our template. I had already marked it here. I just slid it down. Okay. So we're ready to actually put an opening in the back of this toilet water tank. You don't want to mar the finish on it. So wherever you do this is probably going to be outside because you're going to use water. You could put it on the grass, whatever. But make sure you have something soft that will protect the finish of your toilet water tank. And place it like so. Just gently run it over this area so it stays wet, keeps the dust down, keeps the bit cool, and keeps your ceramic water tank, the pottery, keeps it cool. In your SR1 system came one of these. It's a 50 millimeter 2-inch opening, diamond encrusted drill bit. And I use just a battery variable speed drill. And what you're going to do, you have your water going on here, you just take your drill and you put it on an angle. And you do it slow, you start slow. And you line it up with your marking here. And you're going to cut, you're going to get started this way. All right? And as it starts cutting it cuts it really quick. At least the surface here. As it is cutting in, you can pick up the speed and you can start to square it with the tank itself, so the surface of the tank. So you're cutting straight down. Now, as you can see with this one, we have this rise here. And you're going to get all kinds of different things. All these manufacturers do things differently. So maybe it's best, in this case, start here and then work our way this way. All right? And believe me, you'll be right within those lines. If you just take your time, let the drill, let the bit do the work. Don't sit here and force this thing, push on it and lean on it. You could break the water tank. So you've cut through. We're done. I then take a little wet sandpaper, 320 to 400, whatever you have, and I will, again with that water there, I'll smooth the edges out, inside and outside on this. Just take your time, smooth it out. Very, very important. Before you do anything, especially with that, that drill, make sure in all this, and it's in our instructions, you always wear the proper personal protection equipment. I actually have one here that I had already cut the opening for the outlet. I recommend you don't cement. If you had to use, if there's no fitting here, if you're not able to use the threaded slips, if you just have a straight nipple coming out of the back of your wall into your water tank, do not cement. As you can see, it's tight. Do not cement it to this elbow. Because if you ever need to take the water tank apart, whatever, you've created a problem now where you'd have to cut this to get this fitting off so you can take the water tank off. So just leave this. It's nice and snug. You do cement this nipple inside the elbow, that 90-degree elbow in the wall, and that'll hold it in place. All right? So we don't cement it to this. We don't. It's just hand tight, and as you can see, they're fine. That gives us some adjustment. Does a number of things. With your SR1 also came a new fill tube. So you're going to connect that. What I recommend you do, slide it through your SR1 fitting. See? In this case, there's not a clip. It just fed down inside. I'm going to make sure it goes down inside the overflow tube. That way, because remember we said that this tube is what fills the bowl. When you flush your toilet, that bowl refills with water. This is where it gets that water. Then this will connect to our water valve. And when this is cemented in the elbow in the wall, it'll hold it just like you see there. Now another thing you want to test is when you're doing all this, is that when you flush the toilet, it doesn't hit anything. You don't want it going clack, 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 hitting on the fitting or whatever it could. And that this all works, that the water valve works properly. In this case, it works great. We clear everything. All right, what I have here is a Kohler toilet with their new AquaPiston flush valve system. And they've gone to this, from my understanding, on all their toilets now, except maybe if they offer a pressure assist, which is a whole different beast. But this is really kind of a cool little thing they've come up with here. So I'm going to show you how to put an SR1 on a Kohler toilet. It's very straightforward, actually. Now this one I've already cut a hole in, but that doesn't matter. I showed you earlier, it's the same procedure in cutting that hole as on a traditional flat unit. So let's get our template. And this one says traditional flush valve. We're going to flip that over Ta-da! AquaPiston. And as per the instructions, we're going to slip this under the center of the AquaPiston. It folds, fits on top of the water tank. I mean, it's like clockwork. You see how that is? Very simple. And all AquaPistons flush valves, you're going to do exactly the same way. If you remember in the earlier part of this video, I showed you how you could adjust this hole up or down. On an AquaPiston, that's not the case. It's one way and that's it, which makes it real straightforward. So you just slide it in under the center of the AquaPiston flush valve. Gives you your area for your opening. You're going to take your Sharpie pen. You're going to draw a circle there. Come to the back. And you're going to do the same thing there. You're going to put your circle on this. Because this is actually, like I showed you earlier, this is actually where you're going to cut with your drill. Once you've marked it, take your template out. Okay, so now you've cut your opening. We're done. We're ready to install our SR1 fitting. The fill tube for the bowl, remove that. This one's too short. It's the one that comes with the toilet. It's too short. We provide you with a longer one, which you'll cut to fit. Install it. Center the flush valve. Now you can do it one or two ways. As we talked earlier, you can run just a nipple from the wall into the back of this toilet for your elbow. It'd be like so. To go on, right? Or, if you like, we provide you with your system these slip and threaded fittings. If you like, this is above your overflow watermark, so we're not worried about it ever leaking, but you can use this. It's kind of nice. As you get into this, you'll figure out what's easiest for you. So I'm going to show you this, like, as you recall in the other one, the back of this toilet was too thick. You can do it with the male threads on the outside or on the inside. That's up to you, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to show you here. We'll put the male on the outside to the female on the inside. And we'll just hand tight it. That's all it has to be. You don't glue this. Hand tight. Now this is ready, depending on how close you are to your wall. The elbow that's in the wall, it can slide in. Now, if that's the case, if you do it this way and this is long enough, you won't glue this. But if you need an extension, if this is further out, if the elbow is further out, you're going to need a coupling here that slides over this, that then will connect whatever nipple you have coming off this elbow that's in the wall. All right, so we put this fitting in. We get our elbow 90-degree sharp. We've got our SR1 fitting with a 1/2 inch nipple that was provided in your system. Take the hose, feed it through the fitting, like so. Got your nipple here. We don't cement this. Now, if you like, you could cement this nipple once you know it's exactly the right length. You could cement it to this elbow, but do not cement the nipple to the SR1 fitting. And likewise, I wouldn't cement this back fitting to the elbow. It's just not necessary. Hand tight will do it. And as you can see, I just pushed down, got everything put together. I'll have to cut this to fit. Right about there looks good. Put this on the water valve. Nice and tight. Now what we want to do, we want to make sure, we've got it all sitting here, we want to make sure that the AquaPiston itself travels freely up and down, doesn't rub. And that's it. But if you always follow, slide this under that yellow portion, center portion of the AquaPiston, even if the top of the tank is higher, your opening, long as you're level, will always be above, because this mark here is the overflow water level. We designed a template so that that level, that mark, would always be the overflow water level. So you never have to worry about drilling below that level, as long as you follow your template. I hope this video was helpful for you. Don't hesitate to call our tech helpline if you have any other questions that weren't covered. We do have some other videos that will be coming up on the actual install in the wall itself. We're very excited that you allowed us to be part of your home or your business, and I think you're going to be really, really excited about what you have here. So thank you again from all of us at Manderley Gates.